Close your eyes and breathe. Let the air of the present moment fade away, replaced by the heavy, sun-drenched atmosphere of Abul Mahola in the year 870 BC. Inhale deeply and feel the dry, rhythmic heat of the Jordan Valley filling your lungs. It is the scent of life in its rawest form, the aroma of red earth turned over by the plow, a fragrance that speaks of ancient fertility, of minerals, and the honest, salty musk of labor. You are Elisha. Feel the weight of the wooden plow handles in your calloused palms. Notice the grain of the wood, polished smooth by years of friction and sweat. The sun is a golden weight upon your shoulders, pressing down with a heat that feels like a physical embrace. Listen. The world around you is a symphony of the earth. Hear the rhythmic thud-thud of the 12 pairs of oxen ahead of you, their massive hooves sinking into the soft, moist clay of the furrow. Listen to the low, guttural lowing of the beasts and the occasional snap of the leather reins. But beneath the noise of the work, there is a deeper silence, a spiritual quiet that has been growing within you for months. It is the silence of an unanswered question. You have spent your life nurturing the soil, but your soul is thirsty for a rain that no cloud can provide. Exhale the exhaustion of the routine. Feel the tension leaving your neck and spine as you surrender to the rhythm of the field. You are a man of wealth, a man of standing, yet in this moment of meditation, you feel the profound poverty of a spirit that has not yet found its true north. Suddenly, the atmosphere shifts. The air, which was thick and heavy, becomes sharp and electric. Inhale, and notice the sudden scent of ozone and wildfire, as if lightning had struck the nearby hills. Without a sound, a shadow falls across the furrow. You stop. The oxen stop. The very wind seems to hold its breath. Through the shimmering veil of heat, a figure emerges. Elijah. He is a man who looks like he was forged in a furnace and tempered in the gales of Horeb. He carries the scent of the wilderness, cedar smoke, rain on limestone, and the ozone of the heavens. As he walks toward you, do not move. Feel the vibration of his footsteps in the ground beneath your feet, a resonance that shakes the foundations of your heart. He does not speak. He does not explain. He simply reaches for the mantle upon his shoulders, a heavy, coarse garment of camel hair blackened by the smoke of 100 altars. He flings it. Watch it move through the air in slow motion, a dark wing of destiny. When it lands upon your shoulders, it is not just fabric. It is a spiritual weight, a mantle of fire that ignites a flame in your marrow. The texture is rough and scratchy against your damp skin, yet it feels more natural than the silks of a prince. It is the weight of a nation's tears and the heat of God's glory. Inhale the scent of that mantle. It smells of the still, small voice. It smells of the drought and the subsequent downpour. It is the aroma of the supernatural intersecting with the mundane. Your heart begins to beat with a new cadence, a drum of adoration. Holy, holy, holy. The plow no longer matters. The oxen, the inheritance, the safe future, they dissolve like mist under the rising sun. You run after him, feel the hot dust of the road rising around your ankles, a cloud of transition. Let me kiss my father and my mother, you plead, your voice thick with the gravity of the moment. Elijah turns, his eyes like glowing embers. Go back. What have I done to you? He has done everything. He has awakened the sleeping giant of your purpose. You return to the field, but you are no longer a farmer. You are a priest preparing a sacrifice. Feel the cold iron of the axe in your hand as you slaughter the oxen, the very animals that were your livelihood. Hear the crackle of the wooden plow as you break it apart to build a fire. Inhale the scent of the wood smoke and the roasting meat. This is not a meal. It is a total burnt offering of your past. You are burning the bridges to the shore of enough so you can swim in the ocean of infinite. And if you feel the call to burn the plows of your own safety to follow a higher flame, let your spirit rest in this adoration. Subscribe to this inner sanctuary and leave your word of gratitude. I surrender to the mantle and feel the peace of a soul that has finally found its home. The fire in the field begins to die down to glowing coals, and as the smoke rises toward the indigo sky of the coming night, you realize that you are now a student of the wind. You have left the certainty of the harvest for the uncertainty of the spirit. Inhale the cooling evening air. Exhale the last of your earthly ambitions. You are ready to walk. You are ready to serve. The journey to the Jordan has begun, and the silence of God is about to become the loudest sound you have ever heard. The fire of your old life has faded into a bed of glowing embers, and the scent of the sacrifice lingers in the cooling air of Abel Meholah. As you step away from the blackened remains of your plow, feel the liberation in your footsteps. You are no longer tethered to the earth. You are anchored to the wind. Inhale the crisp nocturnal air of the valley, a mixture of river mist and wild thyme, and feel the profound stillness of a soul that has said its final yes. Every breath is now a prayer of alignment. You are walking behind Elijah, the man of fire, but you are also walking into the very heart of the divine. The journey toward Gilgal is a rhythmic meditation of movement. Feel the texture of the dry, rocky path beneath your sandals. Hear the crunch of limestone and the soft rustle of your new mantle against your legs. The sun begins to rise, a pale gold eye watching your ascent. Inhale the light. Feel it warming your skin, a physical manifestation of the grace that now guides you. Elijah walks with a stride that defies age, his eyes fixed on a horizon you cannot yet see. You do not ask where you are going, for in this state of total devotion, the destination is the presence of the Master. Exhale the need for maps. Exhale the desire for a destination. The road itself is the sanctuary. As you reach Gilgal, the atmosphere thickens with the weight of history and ancient holiness. Inhale the scent of the sacred stones, a smell of sun-baked rock and old dust. Here, Elijah turns to you, his voice a low vibration that resonates in your chest. Stay here, for the Lord has sent me to Bethel. Feel the sudden pang of a test. It is the temptation to rest, to settle in the safety of a holy place. But your spirit responds with a fervor that surprises even you. As the Lord lives, and as your soul lives, I will not leave you. This is not a choice. It is a spiritual necessity. Your soul is fused to the fire. The climb to Bethel is steep, a physical exertion that mirrors the stretching of your faith. Inhale the thin mountain air. Feel your lungs expanding, your heart pounding, a steady rhythm of Adonai, Adonai. The scent of the highland pines and the cold breath of the peaks fill your senses. You are climbing toward the house of God, the place where Jacob saw the ladder of heaven. As you walk, the silence between you and Elijah becomes a conversation of spirits. You are learning to hear the unspoken, the shift in the wind, the language of the shadows, the pulse of the earth. In Bethel, the sons of the prophets emerge like shadows from the stone buildings. Inhale the scent of their apprehension, a smell like damp wool and nervous sweat. They whisper to you, their voices sharp with the sting of reality. Do you know that the Lord will take your master from your head today? Feel the cold blade of that truth. It is a reminder of the coming loss, an invitation to grief. But you do not allow the grief to take root. You breathe through the pain. Yes, I know it. Be silent. In that silence, you are protecting the sacredness of the transition. You are refusing to let the noise of the world disturb the frequency of the miracle. Elijah tests you again. Stay here, for the Lord has sent me to Jericho. But you are a flame that cannot be extinguished by distance. Again, the oath of loyalty pours from your lips like a libation. The descent toward Jericho is a journey into the heat of the plains. Inhale the scent of the Jordan thickets, the smell of reeds, stagnant water, and the heavy perfume of the balsam trees. The air is thick and humid, clinging to your skin like a second mantle. In Jericho, the city of palms, the sons of the prophets repeat their warning. Do you know? Yes, you know. But your knowledge is deeper than theirs. They know the fact of the departure. You know the weight of the mantle. You are not just losing a master, you are becoming a vessel. Exhale the anxiety of the crowd. Let their voices fade into a dull hum as you focus only on the back of the man of fire. He leads you toward the Jordan, the river of crossing. Inhale the scent of the rushing water, a wild green aroma of moss and ancient currents. At the river's edge, Elijah stops. The air is now heavy with the scent of a coming storm. Though the sky is clear, it is the smell of the supernatural. Watch as he takes his mantle, the very one that once covered your shoulders, and strikes the water. Crack. The sound is like a lightning strike. The river peels back, exposing the dark, muddy secrets of the bed. As you walk through the dry path, feel the towering walls of water on either side, a shimmering, liquid silence. On the other side, the atmosphere is no longer of this earth. It is thin, electric, and smells of pure gold and ozone. Elijah looks at you, his eyes now filled with a paternal tenderness that breaks your heart and heals it all at once. Ask what I shall do for you before I am taken. Inhale the audacity of heaven. This is the moment where desire meets destiny. You do not ask for wealth or long life. You ask for the impossible. Please let a double portion of your spirit be upon me. The request hangs in the air, a spiritual thunderhead. Elijah's voice is solemn. You have asked a hard thing, but if you see me when I am taken, it shall be yours. Inhale the intensity of that gaze. You lock your eyes onto his. You do not blink. You do not look away. Every fiber of your being is focused on the man, for the man is the gate to the glory. If you are seeking the double portion in your own life, the strength to carry a legacy, the fire to change a nation, stay in this state of absolute focus. Subscribe to this inner river and leave your prayer of gratitude. I am watching for the fire, and feel the power of a spirit that refuses to settle for less than the fullness of God. The wind is beginning to howl, and the sky is turning a color you have never seen. Do not look away. The chariot is coming. The atmosphere on the far side of the Jordan is no longer bound by the laws of the physical world. Inhale deeply and feel the air becoming dense, vibrating with a frequency that hums in your very bones. It is a thin place, a threshold where the veil between the seen and the unseen has worn away to a transparent shimmer. The scent of the earth, the mud of the riverbank, and the dry brush is being systematically replaced by a fragrance that is difficult to describe. It is the smell of light itself, a sharp, cleansing aroma of holy ozone and burning cedar that clears your mind of every lingering earthly thought. You are standing in a silence so absolute it feels like a physical weight. Every breath you take is a deliberate act of adoration. Adonai, Adonai. You are watching Elijah. Your eyes are locked onto his with a desperate, holy intensity, remembering his warning. If you see me, it shall be yours. Feel the strain in your eyelids, the dry heat of the desert air, but you do not blink. You are a sentinel of the Spirit, a watcher at the gate of eternity. The world behind you, the fields of Abel-Meholah, the whispering prophets of Jericho, the very ground you stand on, feels like a fading dream. Only the man of fire is real. Suddenly, the sky above the horizon doesn't just change color, it dissolves. Hear the sound of 1,000 rushing winds, a roar that is not destructive, but majestic, a seismic vibration that makes the marrow of your bones tremble. Inhale and hold your breath as the horizon is torn open. The chariot. It is not made of wood or iron, but of living, liquid radiance. It is a whirlwind of golden flame, pulling the atmosphere into a spiral of blinding light. The horses are not flesh and blood. They are silhouettes of white-hot glory, their manes flowing like solar flares. The heat is immense, yet it does not burn your skin. It consumes your fear. It is a heat that purifies, a golden warmth that radiates from the center of the universe. Watch as the whirlwind sweeps Elijah upward. His feet leave the dust. The man who challenged kings and called down fire is now being embraced by the fire of fires. You cry out, your voice a raw eruption of grief and awe. My father, the chariots of Israel and its horsemen. Inhale the scent of the golden trail left in the sky, a perfume of victory and eternal homecoming. Elijah is gone. The roar of the whirlwind fades into a silence that is even deeper than before. But look, falling through the air, spinning slowly like a dark leaf from a celestial tree, is the mantle. It falls at your feet. Reach out with trembling hands and touch the fabric. It is still warm from the chariot's fire. It feels electric, vibrating with a power that makes your arms tingle. Inhale the scent of the mantle now. It no longer smells like the man. It smells like the mission. It carries the weight of the double portion. You take up the mantle. You do not just hold it. You wrap it around your soul. Feel the sudden influx of authority, a surge of divine strength that straightens your back and clears your vision. You walk back toward the Jordan. The river is flowing again, a barrier between you and the work God has called you to do. But you are no longer the servant. You are the prophet. Inhale the audacity of faith as you strike the water with the mantle. Crack. Where is the Lord, the God of Elijah? The water obeys. It flees before you, creating a dry path through the depths. As you walk through, exhale the last vestiges of your old identity. The Elisha who followed is dead. The Elisha who leads has been born in the fire. On the other side, the sons of the prophets are waiting. They see the change in your countenance, the light in your eyes that reflects the chariot's glory. The spirit of Elijah rests on Elisha. They whisper, bowing low. Inhale the peace of a settled destiny. You have crossed the river, and there is no going back. If you are standing before your own Jordan today, wondering if you have the strength to cross into your calling, stay in this state of prayerful immersion. Subscribe to this sanctuary of power and leave your testimony of gratitude. The fire is within me, and feel the mantle of the double portion settling upon your life. The world is waiting for the sound of your voice, and the God of Elijah is moving ahead of you. The miracles are about to begin. The transition from the heavens back to the earth is not a descent into the mundane, but the beginning of a life lived in the supernatural. Inhale the atmosphere of the Jordan's banks once more. the scent of the churning, muddy water, the green reeds, and the damp soil. Feel the physical weight of the mantle draped over your shoulders. It is a heavy, coarse reminder that you are now the bridge between the throne and the thirsty land of Israel. As you walk toward the city of Jericho, feel the shift in your own presence. Every step you take feels anchored in a profound, unshakable peace. You are no longer searching for the fire, you are its custodian. Inhale the scent of Jericho as you approach, a city of palms, but a city under a silent curse. The air here is stagnant, carrying the bitter, metallic smell of unproductive soil and the salty, flat aroma of poisoned springs. Hear the low, mourning voices of the city elders as they approach you. They see the mantle. They feel the residue of the chariot's heat still radiating from your skin. The water is bad, they tell you, and the land is unfruitful. Inhale their desperation and let it meet your compassion. This is the first test of the double portion. You do not offer empty prayers. You act with the authority of the Creator. Bring me a new bowl, you command, and put salt in it. Feel the texture of the raw, unglazed clay bowl in your hands. Feel the coarse, white crystals of the salt, pure, sharp, and preserving. Inhale the clean, bracing scent of the salt as you walk toward the source of the spring. At the edge of the bitter water, feel the profound silence of expectation. The crowd holds its breath. You cast the salt into the depths. Thus says the Lord, I have healed this water. From now on, it shall not cause death or barrenness. Inhale the sudden, electric transformation of the atmosphere. The bitter, stagnant smell evaporates, replaced instantly by the sweet, crystalline fragrance of living water. Hear the sound of the spring bubbling up, a new, joyful melody of life. The water is no longer a weapon of death. It is a gift of grace. Exhale the bitterness of your own past disappointments. Feel the salt of the Spirit purifying the hidden springs of your own heart. This is the essence of the Elisha meditation, the power to take what is broken and through the simplicity of obedience, make it whole again. If you feel that the waters of your life have become bitter or unfruitful, stand in this space of prayer. Subscribe to this river of restoration and leave your message of gratitude. My springs are healed, and feel the sweetness of divine provision flowing into your circumstances. But as you leave the healed waters of Jericho, the road leads you toward the heights of Bethel, and the atmosphere darkens. Inhale the scent of the thick forest that lines the path, the smell of damp moss, old bark, and the sharp, piney aroma of the hills. Here, the peace of the spring is met by the jagged edge of mockery. A group of youths emerges from the city, their voices sharp and disrespectful, cutting through the sacred silence. Go up, you bald head. Go up, you bald head. Inhale the weight of the insult. It is not just an attack on your appearance. It is a rejection of the mantle, a mockery of the fire that took your master. Feel the righteous heat rising in your spirit. In this meditation, we recognize that the double portion carries both the power to heal and the authority to judge. You turn and look at them, not in personal anger, but in the gravity of the Spirit. You speak a word of justice. From the shadows of the woods, hear the heavy, rhythmic breathing of two great she-bears. Inhale the musk of the wild, the scent of fur, wet earth, and raw, untamed power. The mockery is silenced by the manifestation of the holy. It is a sobering reminder that the path of the prophet is a narrow one, demanding absolute reverence. Exhale the need for the world's approval. Inhale the solemnity of your calling. You are a man of God, and your life is no longer your own. As the evening stars begin to pierce the indigo sky over Bethel, find a place of deep, silent adoration. The journey from the river to the mountain has taught you that the God who heals the water is the same God who protects his honor. Stay in this state of holy awe. The road is long, and the miracles are only becoming more intimate. The oil is about to flow, and a Shunammite woman is already preparing a room for the light. The journey continues into the intimate spaces of the weary and the broken, where the double portion of the Spirit meets the quiet desperation of a mother's heart. Inhale deeply and feel the atmosphere shift from the rugged, forested heights of Bethel to the cramped, dust-filled interior of a widow's home. The air here is thin and tastes of ash, the scent of a cold hearth, and the lingering, salty aroma of tears that have dried on hollow cheeks. Listen to the sound of weeping, a low, rhythmic mourning that vibrates against the mud brick walls. It is the sound of a woman who has lost her husband and is now facing the loss of her sons to the cold hands of creditors. Inhale the scent of her despair. It smells like dry straw and the metallic tang of fear. She falls at your feet, her hands clutching the hem of the mantle. Your servant, my husband, is dead, and the creditor is coming to take my 2 sons to be his slaves. Feel the visceral surge of compassion in your spirit. This is the heart of the prophetic, to stand in the gap where poverty meets injustice. Exhale the anxiety of the room. Inhale the stillness of divine potential. You look at her with eyes that see beyond her empty cupboards. What shall I do for you? Tell me, what do you have in the house? Hear her voice, thin and trembling, like a reed in the wind. Your servant has nothing there at all, except a small jar of olive oil. Focus on that small jar. In your mind's eye, see the humble vessel of clay, its surface pitted and worn. Inside, there is only a shallow pool of liquid gold. Inhale the scent of that oil, rich, peppery, and earthy. It is the last remnant of her past, the final seed of her future. Go, you command, and your voice carries the weight of the heavens. Borrow vessels from all your neighbors, empty vessels. Do not ask for a few. Watch as the boys run through the village. Hear the clinking of clay against clay, the hollow echoes of the empty jars being carried across the threshold. Inhale the scent of the neighbors' homes, scents of wool, grain, and wood, now being gathered in this one room of miracle. The door is shut. The world is locked out. Only the widow, her sons, the oil, and the invisible presence remain. Pour, you whisper in the spirit. Feel the tension in the room as she lifts the small jar. Listen to the sound of the first trickle, a soft, golden glug-glug against the bottom of a large, empty vessel. But the sound does not stop. Inhale the thickening aroma of fresh pressed olives. It begins to fill the house, a fragrance of abundance that replaces the smell of ash. The oil flows like a river of liquid light, defying the laws of volume and space. Bring me another vessel, she tells her sons. Her voice is no longer trembling. It is rising with the frequency of a miracle. 1 jar is filled. 2, 10, 20. The room is now crowded with fullness. Inhale the scent of the oil as it nears the brim of the final jar. There is not another vessel, the son says, and the oil stops. Exhale the spirit of lack. Inhale the peace of the provider. You are witnessing the multiplication of grace. Go, sell the oil and pay your debts, and you and your sons can live on the rest. Feel the profound relief washing over the family, a wave of gratitude that tastes like honey. If you feel that your jar is nearly empty today, that your resources are insufficient for the demands of your life, stand in this state of prayerful surrender. Subscribe to this sanctuary of multiplication and leave your prayer of gratitude. My vessels are being filled, and feel the oil of the Spirit flowing into the empty spaces of your soul. As you leave the widow's house, the air smells of joy and olive wood, but your path leads further north, toward the village of Shunem. Inhale the scent of the fertile plains of Issachar, the smell of blooming vines, ripening pomegranates, and the cool breeze from Mount Tabor. There is a woman here, a great woman, who senses the light within you. She does not ask for a miracle. She asks for the privilege of serving the light. Watch as she prepares a small room on the roof for you. Inhale the scent of the new construction, fresh lime, cedar beams, and the clean smell of a linen bed. She provides a table, a stool, and a lampstand. It is a place of rest, a tabernacle for the prophet. In this meditation, we recognize that when we make room for the man of God, we make room for the God of the man. Rest in this upper room. Inhale the silence of the Shunammite's hospitality. Feel the peace of being known and welcomed. You look at her, this woman who has provided everything, but has one silent, hidden ache in her heart. She has no son. The mantle on your shoulders begins to vibrate with the heat of a promise. At this time next year, you tell her, you shall embrace a son. Inhale her shock, her fear of hope. No, my Lord, do not lie to your servant. But the word has gone forth. Exhale the barrenness. Inhale the life that is even now being woven in the secret place. Stay in this state of quiet adoration, for the room of rest is about to become a room of resurrection, and the double portion is preparing to face its greatest challenge yet. The sun is setting over Shunem, and the light is just beginning to shine. The upper room in Shunem is no longer just a place of physical rest. It has become a sanctuary of waiting, a silent laboratory of the Spirit. Inhale the scent of the evening air as it drifts through the window, the cooling stone, the fragrance of night-blooming jasmine, and the clean, crisp linen of the bed provided by the woman of faith. There is a deep, rhythmic peace here. But beneath the surface, the atmosphere is charged with the electric hum of a miracle in gestation. Time moves forward like a slow, flowing river. Inhale the scent of the seasons changing, the dry dust of harvest, the damp sweetness of the first rains, and finally, the blossoming of the spring anemones. In the house below, a cry breaks the silence. A son is born. Inhale the aroma of the fulfillment of the promise. It is the scent of new life, of milk, and of the profound joy that comes when the impossible takes its first breath. The barren room has become a nursery of hope. But years pass, and the meditation deepens into the mystery of suffering. Inhale the sharp, searing heat of a midsummer morning. The air is thick, shimmering with a relentless glare that bakes the fields of Shunem. Feel the vibration of the sun against the earth. The boy, the child of the promise, is in the field with his father. Hear the sudden, piercing cry, "My head, my head." Inhale the scent of sudden panic, the smell of hot dust and rising fear. The boy is carried to his mother. He sits on her lap until noon, and then the light in his eyes fades. He dies. Inhale the cold, hollow silence that follows. The room that once smelled of life now smells of the absolute stillness of death. Watch the Shunammite woman. She does not scream. She does not mourn with the loud wailing of the world. Inhale her supernatural composure. She carries the body of her son up the stairs, into your room, and lays him on your bed. She closes the door. She is locking death in the room of the prophet, refusing to accept it as the final word. She rides toward you at Mount Carmel. Inhale the scent of the journey, the sweat of the donkey, the hot wind, and the salt of a mother's suppressed tears. She sees you from a distance. You send Gehazi to meet her. Is it well with you? Is it well with your husband? Is it well with the child? Hear her answer, a whisper that shatters the atmosphere of despair. It is well. Exhale the spirit of defeat. Inhale the audacity of "it is well" in the face of a corpse. This is the height of devotion, the ability to trust the source, even when the gift has been taken. She falls at your feet, clutching the mantle. Inhale the scent of her raw, unedited agony as she finally speaks her truth. You do not scold her. You feel the weight of the hidden sorrow the Lord has kept from you. Take my staff, you tell Gehazi, and lay it on the face of the child. But the mother knows that the staff is not enough. She needs the presence. I will not leave you. The walk back to Shunem is a journey of intense, focused intercession. Inhale the scent of the mountain and the plain, but focus only on the rhythmic prayer of your heart. When you arrive at the house, the atmosphere is heavy, mourning-cloaked. You enter the upper room alone and shut the door. There is no light here, but the dim glow through the shutters. Inhale the scent of death, cold, waxy, and stagnant. It is the scent of a promise that has gone cold. You do not retreat. You pray to the Lord. And then, you do as your master Elijah once did, but with the weight of the double portion. You lay yourself upon the child, mouth to mouth, eyes to eyes, hands to hands. Feel the chilling cold of the boy's skin against your own. Inhale the silence of the grave. You pace the room, wrestling in the spirit. Then you lay upon him again. Suddenly, inhale the scent of a shifting atmosphere. The boy's flesh begins to grow warm. The air in the room begins to vibrate with the frequency of returning life. Sneeze. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times. Inhale the scent of the 7th sneeze. It is the sound of the breath of God re-entering the lungs of the promise. The boy opens his eyes. Inhale the fragrance of absolute restoration. It smells like life, like victory, like the very breath of the Creator. You call the mother, see her fall at your feet, overwhelmed by a gratitude that has no words. Exhale the dead areas of your own life. Feel the warmth of the Spirit returning to your dreams and your callings. If you are standing over a promise that seems to have died, stay in this room of meditation. Subscribe to this sanctuary of resurrection and leave your prayer of gratitude. Life is returning to me, and feel the heat of the double portion, warming what was once cold. The door is opening, and the light of Shunem is brighter than ever before. There is more work to be done. The poison is in the pot, and the world still needs to be fed. The atmosphere of restoration lingers in the house at Shunem, but the path of the prophet leads you back to the rugged hills of Gilgal, where a different kind of hunger awaits. Inhale deeply and feel the shift from the intimate warmth of the upper room to the harsh, dry air of a land gripped by famine. The sky is a relentless, pale blue, and the air tastes of parched grass and bitter dust. Here, the meditation moves from the miracle of life to the miracle of sustenance. Inhale the scent of the school of the prophets, the smell of sun-baked stone, coarse wool, and the quiet, disciplined hunger of men who have surrendered their bellies to feed their spirits. You sit among them, the mantle of Elijah draped over your shoulders, a symbol of the weight you carry for these sons of the covenant. They are your family, and their hunger is your own. Put on the large pot. you command, and cook a stew for the sons of the prophets. Exhale the spirit of scarcity. Inhale the peace of the provider. One of the young men goes out into the fields to find something to add to the pot. Watch as he finds a wild vine and gathers a lapful of wild gourds. Inhale the scent of the vine. It is a sharp, green, and deceptive aroma. He returns and shreds them into the boiling cauldron, not knowing that death is hidden in the fiber. As the stew simmers, inhale the aroma rising from the pot. It begins as a savory promise, but then a discordant note strikes your senses. The air suddenly smells of acrid bitterness and chemical sharp. Hear the sudden, terrified cry of the men as they taste the first spoonful. O man of God, there is death in the pot. Feel the wave of panic that threatens to break the sacred silence. This is the challenge of the double portion: to face the poison that the world accidentally or intentionally throws into the nourishment of the faithful. Do not react in fear. Inhale the stillness of the Spirit. You do not discard the pot, you transform it. Bring me some flour, you say. Feel the fine, powdery texture of the flour between your fingers, the simple, humble product of the earth. Inhale the clean, wholesome scent of the grain as you cast it into the boiling chaos. Pour it out for the people to eat, you command, and as the flour meets the poison, inhale the sudden, miraculous shift in the atmosphere. The acrid scent evaporates, replaced by the rich, hearty fragrance of a healed meal. There is no longer any harm in the pot. Exhale the poisons that have entered your own life, the bitter words, the toxic environments, the spiritual contaminations. Feel the flower of the word, neutralizing the venom in your soul. If you feel that something deadly has touched the things meant to nourish you, stay in this state of prayerful cleansing. Subscribe to this sanctuary of purification and leave your word of gratitude. The poison is gone, and feel the peace of a life made whole again. But the miracle of the meal does not end with the pot. A man comes from Elisha, bringing 20 loaves of barley bread and some ears of new grain in his sack. Inhale the scent of the fresh bread. It is the aroma of the first fruits, a smell of toasted grain and divine favor. But there are 100 men, and the bread is small. Give it to the people to eat, you say. Hear the doubt of your servant. How can I set this before 100 men? But you are not looking at the bread, you are looking at the word. Thus says the Lord, they shall eat and have some left over. Watch the miracle of the multiplication of the loaves. Inhale the scent of the bread as it passes from hand to hand, and somehow, the more they eat, the more remains. It is the fragrance of the enough. Feel the profound satisfaction of a body fed and a spirit strengthened. Everyone eats until they are full, and the baskets are not empty. Exhale the anxiety of not enough. Inhale the abundance of the kingdom. You are learning that the double portion is a fountain that never runs dry. As the sun sets over Gilgal, the air is cool and smells of satisfied hunger and deep, silent adoration. But look to the north. A chariot is approaching from Syria, and the man inside carries a disease that no stew can cure. The meditation is shifting from the hunger of the belly to the pride of the heart. Stay in the silence. The Jordan is calling again. The twilight of Gilgal fades, replaced by the sharp, metallic air of a kingdom in tension. Inhale deeply and feel the atmosphere shift from the humble circle of the prophets to the grand, imposing arrival of a foreign power. The silence of the desert road is shattered by the thunder of hooves and the heavy, rhythmic clatter of chariot wheels. It is the scent of Syria, a mixture of expensive leather, horse sweat, and the pungent, exotic spices of Damascus. Naaman, the commander of the Syrian army, has arrived at your door. Inhale the fragrance of his world, the smell of iron-forged armor, royal cedar, and the sandalwood oil of a general. But beneath the splendor, there is a discordant note, the smell of decay. Inhale the cold, clinical scent of the lepra, a disease that tastes of dry dust and isolation. Even behind his golden breastplate, Naaman is a man trapped in a dying body. You do not go out to meet him. In this meditation, we recognize that the double portion does not bow to human rank. It bows only to the King of Kings. You stay in the inner room in the state of silent adoration. You send a messenger with a simple word, "Go and wash in the Jordan 7 times, and your flesh shall be restored." Exhale the spirit of pride. Inhale the scent of Naaman's fury. Hear his voice, sharp and booming like a mountain storm. Are not the rivers of Damascus better than all the waters of Israel? He expects a spectacle, a waving of hands, a loud invocation, a dramatic touch. But the Spirit works in the quietness of obedience. Inhale the scent of his resistance, a smell like hot iron and wounded ego. Watch as his servants speak to him with the wisdom of the humble. Feel the tension break as Naaman finally turns his chariot toward the Jordan. The descent to the river is a descent into humility. Inhale the scent of the Jordan, green, ancient, and heavy, with the smell of moss and silt. The water does not look miraculous. It looks common. Naaman steps out of his chariot. Feel the weight of his armor as he unbuckles it, piece by piece. The clank of the metal on the rocks is the sound of a man stripping away his identity. He stands in his bare skin, the marks of the disease white and jagged against the sun. He steps into the water. Inhale the chill of the first immersion. 1. He rises, and the scales are still there. 2. 3. The water is cold, and the silence of the riverbank is heavy. 4. 5. 6. The doubt is a bitter taste in his mouth. But then, the 7th time, inhale, and hold your breath as he disappears beneath the green current. When he emerges the 7th time, the atmosphere of the riverbank is instantly transformed. Inhale the scent of the miraculous. It smells like new skin, like a child's breath, like the very morning of creation. Look at his flesh. The jagged white patches are gone. His skin is as smooth as a young boy's. The river has washed away more than the lepra. It has washed away the wall between a man and his God. Naaman returns to you, no longer a general demanding a favor, but a worshiper seeking a master. Inhale the scent of his gratitude. It is like a fragrant incense. Now I know that there is no God in all the earth, but in Israel. He offers you gold and silver, but you refuse. The double portion cannot be bought. It can only be received. Exhale the desire for reward. Inhale the peace of a life lived for the glory of the unseen. If you are standing before your own Jordan, resisting a simple act of obedience because it feels beneath your dignity, stay in this prayer of surrender. Subscribe to this sanctuary of healing and leave your word of gratitude. I am washing in the water, and feel the lepra of your own soul being replaced by the purity of the Spirit. As Naaman departs, a shadow remains. Gehazi, your servant, watches the silver leave with a heart full of greed. Inhale the scent of his deception. It smells like cold metal and hidden rot. He runs after the chariot and lies for a profit. When he returns, you look at him with eyes that see into the dark. Did not my heart go with you? Inhale the gravity of the judgment. The lepra of Naaman leaves the general and clings to the servant. Exhale the spirit of greed. The eighth movement of this meditation reminds us that the power of God is a holy fire that must be handled with clean hands. Stay in the silence of the evening. The iron is about to swim, and the king is about to learn that the prophet sees even what is whispered in the bedroom. The night is deep, and the spirit is vigilant. The weight of the mantle has become a part of your very being, no longer an external garment, but a second skin of light and responsibility. Inhale the atmosphere of the prophet's inner chamber, a place where the scent of cedar and old scrolls mingles with the electric charge of constant intercession. The meditation now shifts from the healing of individuals to the preservation of a nation, moving from the river's edge to the high, strategic watchtowers of the spirit. Listen to the profound silence of the night. In this stillness, you are not limited by walls or distance. The king of Syria whispers his war plans in his most private bedroom. But in the realm of the spirit, his words are as loud as thunder in your ears. Inhale the scent of divine revelation. It is a sharp, crystalline fragrance, like mountain air before a storm. You send word to the king of Israel. Avoid that place, for the Syrians are coming down there. Again and again, the snare is broken. The invisible becomes visible to you. Exhale the spirit of confusion and fear. Inhale the peace of the watchman. The king of Syria is enraged. His breath smells of wine and fury as he searches for a traitor among his own. It is Elisha, they tell him. He tells the king of Israel the words you speak in your bedroom. Now, feel the atmosphere change as the Syrian army moves to surround you in Dothan. Inhale the sudden, metallic scent of a siege, the smell of thousands of horses, the oil on bronze armor, and the dust kicked up by a sea of chariots. The morning breaks with a cold, gray light. Your servant walks out, looks over the walls, and his heart collapses in terror. Inhale his panic. It smells like cold sweat and iron. Alas, my lord, what shall we do? Stay in your peace. Do not let the rhythm of your adoration break. You do not look at the chariots of bronze. You look at the chariots of flame. Do not fear, you whisper, and your voice is a calm anchor in the storm. For those who are with us are more than those who are with them. Inhale the audacity of the supernatural. You pray, Lord, open his eyes that he may see. Suddenly, the veil is torn. The servant's gasp is the sound of a soul awakened. The mountainside is not filled with Syrians. It is teeming with horses and chariots of fire, a celestial army of living light, radiating a heat that dissolves the darkness. Inhale the scent of the heavenly host. It is the fragrance of pure gold, ozone, and eternal victory. Exhale the siege of your own life. The debts, the sickness, the overwhelming odds. Feel the presence of the invisible protectors standing on the hills of your circumstances. If you feel surrounded by enemies today, stay in this state of prophetic vision. Subscribe to this sanctuary of the watchman and leave your prayer of gratitude. My eyes are open to the fire and feel the confidence of one who knows they are never alone. As the Syrian army advances, you do not strike them with a sword. You strike them with a word. Strike this people with blindness. Inhale the sudden, hollow silence of a blind army, the scent of dust, and the sound of stumbling feet. You lead them, your enemies, like children into the heart of Samaria. When their eyes are opened, they find themselves in the presence of their captors. But you do not allow the king of Israel to kill them. You set a feast before them. Inhale the scent of the banquet, bread, meat, and wine offered to the enemy. This is the ultimate double portion, the power to conquer through mercy. They return to their master, and the raids cease. As the sun sets over the hills of Samaria, the air is calm and smells of bread and peace. But the meditation is approaching its final, most mysterious chapter. The double portion is preparing to enter the dust of the grave, only to prove that the God of Elisha is the God of the living. Stay in the silence. The bones are waiting to speak. The mantle of the double portion has been carried through decades of fire, water, and desert winds. And now, the meditation enters the chamber of the final transition. Inhale deeply and feel the atmosphere shift from the strategic heights of the watchtower to the intimate, sacred quiet of a room where the light of a long life is beginning to flicker. The air here is thin and smells of aged parchment, dry herbs, and the sweet, heavy scent of a race nearly finished. Listen to the rhythmic, labored breathing of a prophet whose body is weary, but whose spirit remains an unquenchable furnace. King Joash of Israel kneels by your bed, weeping. Inhale the scent of his royal grief. It smells like expensive linen and the salt of a nation's fear. My father, the chariots of Israel and its horsemen, he cries, repeating the very words you once shouted to Elijah. Feel the profound peace in your spirit. You are not afraid of the shadows, for you have lived in the light. Even in your weakness, the authority of the throne is in your hands. Take the bow and arrows, you command. Feel the cold, smooth wood of the bow as you place your trembling hands over the king's hands. Inhale the scent of the window as it opens toward the east, the smell of the morning wind, and the distant promise of victory. The arrow of the Lord's deliverance, you proclaim. Every breath you take is a final act of intercession for the land you love. Exhale the last of your physical strength. Inhale the fragrance of eternity as you close your eyes for the final time. The silence that follows is not the silence of the end, but the silence of a seed being planted in the earth. You are laid in a simple tomb, cut into the limestone of the Judean hills. Inhale the scent of the sepulchre, cool stone, dry earth, and the scent of rest. Years pass. The world above continues its cycle of war and hunger. Inhale the scent of a sudden, chaotic panic near your resting place. A band of Moabite raiders is approaching, and a funeral procession is forced to act in haste. They cast a dead man's body into your tomb. Inhale, and hold your breath as the physical meets the supernatural in the dark. The moment the dead man's flesh touches your dry bones, the double portion, the spirit that never saw the grave, erupts like a volcano of life. Hear the sudden gasp of a man returning from the abyss. Inhale the scent of the miraculous. It is the sharp, electric smell of resurrection, the aroma of a life so saturated in God that even its remains carry the pulse of the Creator. The man stands up, alive, because the God of Elisha does not recognize the boundaries of the tomb. Exhale every fear of death. Inhale the absolute certainty of the resurrection. This is the final mystery of the Elisha meditation, that the power of a life lived in total devotion is an eternal legacy that continues to heal and restore long after the voice has gone silent. If you feel that your own legacy is fading, or if you are afraid of the grave of your circumstances, stay in this state of glorious adoration. Subscribe to this sanctuary of eternal life and leave your final message of gratitude. The life of God is in my bones, and feel the resurrection power of the double portion quickening your spirit today. The light of the 10-part journey is now a brilliant, blinding sun. You have walked from the arado to the chariot, from the bitter water to the living bones. Inhale the peace of a journey completed. The mantle is now yours to carry. Walk forth in the silence of the Spirit, for the God of Elijah and Elisha is the God who walks beside you now. Amen.